Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Steve. Oh man, this video right here is going to cause an absolute uproar in the basketball community. Look, after about an hour of sitting back and thinking, you know what I realized? I realized that this video has to be made. It's gonna get a lot of flack, but I'm used to that and I don't really care. So these are the top 5 point guards. People are going to go crazy. The top 5 point guards in NBA history. Now keep in mind, before I even start, I took into account accolades. I took into account skill set and just pure dominance. Keep that in mind. Here we go. Number 1 is obviously Magic Johnson, without question. This dude's a Hall of Famer, 12-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA, 2-time All-Star Game MVP. I'm laughing because I already know how angry people are going to be when they see number 2. 2-time All-Star MVP, 3-time regular season MVP, 5-time NBA scoring champion. 5-time NBA champion, All-Rookie, and a 3-time Finals MVP. When you talk about all-around basketball dominance, him and Larry pretty much saved the NBA. You don't know who Larry is? Please learn more about basketball. Magic and Larry saved the NBA. They really did. Look it up. And in terms of all-around skill set, Magic, Larry, and LeBron can do everything on the floor. I mean, if you think about it, we already know. I already talked a million times about what Larry and LeBron could do. Now, Magic wasn't a great shooter. He wasn't a great defender. But he could score, rebound, pass the ball. It's not that he was a terrible defender. But he wasn't like a LeBron or a Larry type defender, because Larry Bird's a 3-time All-Defense, and he would have been more because there was only 4 years in his prime, and he's a top 10 player ever, which is ridiculous. Only 4 years in his prime. But let me stop about Larry Bird and how great he really was. Look, and LeBron could obviously do the same. So obviously Magic Johnson, it's like a general consensus. Everyone knows Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard to ever play basketball. It's not even debatable. It's like LeBron. It's like LeBron is clearly... Let me stop. Look, number 2. Oh, man. Oh, boy. And you guys know. I have to say this because I already know there's going to be a lot of nerds in the comments. You're such a fanboy bandwagon. You don't know nothing. You aren't even a Warriors fan. Look, I'm not a fan of Stephen Curry, but you have to give credit. Credit. What is credit? You have to give credit where credit is due. Stephen Curry is definitely the second greatest point guard to ever play basketball, and it's very scary because the dude's still in his prime, and honestly, he's only played 7 years in the NBA, which is ridiculous. But for his career, he averages 23 points per game, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 48% from the field, 44% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. This dude changed the NBA. He is the greatest shooter in NBA history. Off the dribble, off screens, 4-point plays, and ones. You name it, he does it. He's the greatest shooter ever. He led his team to a 73-9 record, the greatest regular season team in NBA history, the greatest regular season record in NBA history. He's the first unanimous MVP ever. The first unanimous MVP ever. And by the way, he went back-to-back in terms of MVPs. He's a 4-time All-NBA, NBA scoring champion, All-Rookie, 2-time NBA champion, 4-time All-Star. And let's be real, Stephen Curry deserved the 2015 MVP in the NBA Finals. Andre Iguodala, come on. He played, they said, oh, well, Andre Iguodala played great defense on LeBron. What are you talking about? LeBron still averaged 35, 9 and 9. Like, come on, man. Real great defense. Come on, man. Steph Curry deserved that Finals MVP. Let's be real. This dude is an absolute monster. And the scariest part is, he's only played 7 years in the NBA. And he's only been in his prime, get this, for 4 years. And now that him and KD with Clay and Dre, with Zaza, and the rest of the, with Andre, with Iggy, now this team, it's over. Who's going to stop this team? It's going to be ridiculous, man. I already know people are going to say, oh, Steve's now a fan of the Warriors. No, I'm not, and I never will be, because I'm a Knicks fan for life, through shit and through ups. We only had around one good year, 2012, 2013, and I've been a Knicks fan since the Chris Duhon days, and even before then, since we had Isaiah Thomas as our damn head coach. Number 3, Oscar Robertson. Now, a lot of people forget that Oscar Robertson was actually a point guard, but I have to give the third spot to Oscar Robertson simply because his accolades and his skill set are up there. You want to talk about all-around game, he's up there with Larry, Magic, and LeBron. Oscar Robertson, first player to ever average an NBA triple-double, and he did it, and he held that record. Get this. He held that for over 40 years. He was the only player to ever average a triple-double until, obviously, Russell Westbrook came and said, you know what, I can do it too, and he did do it. Oscar Robertson, for his career, averaged 26 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. Now, obviously, I rounded it up. It's really 25.7, 7.5, and 9.5, but who cares? 50% from the field and 84% from the free throw line. Now, his accolades match there with Magic Johnson, not quite as well, but they're up there. He's a Hall of Famer, 12-time All-Star, NBA champion, 3-time All-Star MVP, Rookie of the Year, NBA scoring champion, 11-time All-NBA, and he's a regular season MVP. I mean, you name it, he did it. Most people have him in their top 10. I don't, but he's a top 15 player of all time. Definitely top 25 without question. There's no question about it. He's one of the greatest players of all time. Now, let me sit here and say this. I was watching highlights of Oscar Robertson. This was a while ago, like a few months ago. Longer than that. It was probably around a year ago. And I never really mentioned this, but the complete and blatant disrespect. Because people were making fun of the way he dribbled. This was in the 60s he played. The game was different, guys. The game was different. It's always evolving. Which is why I say a certain player, should I say it? Yeah. Number 23 is better than the other number 23. Now, I'm not going to say any names, but you catch my drift. Now, the fourth greatest point guard in NBA history is someone that you guys don't even know when I first started watching basketball was actually my favorite player. It wasn't LeBron or Melo or Wade or Bosh when I first started. It was actually Steve Nash. Now, I got into basketball because of the 2007 NBA Finals when I really started to study and really get into it. But Steve Nash, in like 04, 05, 06, I used to play with Steve Nash, and what was it? NBA Live was popping back then. That's what I used to play with. Steve Nash and the Phoenix Suns. Let's be real. Probably the greatest passer in NBA history. It's either him, Magic, or CP3. You know, let's be real about it. 14 points per game, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, 49% from the field, 43% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. You want to talk about knockdown shooters. Keep this in mind. Please keep this in mind. From 3, he shot 43% from the three-point line for his career. 49% from the field and 90% from the free throw line. He pretty much averaged 50, 40, and 90 for his entire career. And by the way, for a small little dude, this dude was tough as hell. I remember him getting his nose broken in game and him fighting his coaching staff and the people that were trying to clean his nose up. No, I want to get back in the game. No, we have to clean you up. Steve Nash was that guy. He's an 8-time All-Star, 2-time MVP. Now, some people say, oh, well, Shaquille O'Neal deserved it, but he didn't get it because he didn't deserve it. And he's a 7-time All-NBA. Now, he doesn't have NBA championships, but the skill set plus the 2 MVPs, the All-Star appearances, and the All-NBA, let's be real, he's the 4th greatest point guard in NBA history. Number 5, Isaiah Thomas. 19 points per game, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. Pretty solid player. Let's be real, he was a freaking animal. Not solid, he was an animal. Hall of Famer, 12-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, All-Star Game MVP, 2-time NBA champion, All-Rookie, and he was a Finals MVP 1 time. But that's whatever. He went back-to-back with the bad boy Pistons. Really good player. Now, a lot of people are going to say, Steve, how come you don't put Chris Paul on here? Look, Chris Paul, obviously a great player. One of the greatest point guards to ever play. Defensively, offensively, passing, shooting, efficiency, everything. But he doesn't have the accolades. Okay? He doesn't have an MVP. He doesn't have a Finals MVP. He's never even been to the Finals. Okay? But he's still a great player. You know, and if Isaiah Thomas didn't exist, I would put Chris Paul there. I definitely would. Now, let me address something before I end this video real quick. I already know there's going to be people saying, Steve, it doesn't make sense that Stephen Curry is there. But look, can we just stop hating? People do this every time a new player starts to dominate. Let's stop hating. People did this to LeBron when he started to dominate. Now people are doing it to Stephen Curry. Look, the dude, while he may have been overrated in 2015-16 when they said he was better than LeBron, because he wasn't. But let's be real and accept the fact that the dude is a 2-time NBA champion, a 4-time All-Star, and he's only been in his prime 4 years. Keep that in mind. He's a scoring champion, 4 All-NBAs, 2 MVPs, the first unanimous MVP in NBA history. Keep that in mind. And he went back-to-back. He's all-rookie, and he's the greatest shooter in NBA history, shooting 44% from 3, 91% from the free throw line, and 48% from the field for his career. And he's only played, please keep this in mind, he's only played 7 seasons in the league. 8. He's only played 8 NBA seasons. And he has these accolades. Come on, man. Imagine what he's going to do in another 4 years. Come on, let's be real for a second. Come on, let's be real. Let's stop hating on the man. Anyway, it's been your man, Steve. Those are my top 5 point guards of all time. Boy, people are going to be mad.